This is the Hope Not Note podcast,
where we answer your questions and share inspirational stories to fill your soul with hope.
Our mission is to empower hope to those who have been plagued by note.
I'm Dr. Dylan Caswell.
And I'm Brandy.
And we're here to bring you out of the note and into hope.
Welcome to the Hope Not Note podcast. We are so thrilled to be here with you. Before we get started, I would love to invite you to subscribe to our Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever you're listening to. It helps us continue to grow this mission and spread it forward. And we are so thankful that you are listening. And so taking that one extra step would really, really bless us and bless this Hope community more and more. We are going to hop right into one of our questions, and it is from a listener named Jaden. And they say, I know that you're going to the CrossFit Legends Masters Games. What does it mean to be a legend?
Jaden, thank you for the question. I think it's the easiest question that we've ever gotten.
So is this podcast going to be less than 2 minutes?
You know what's going to happen.
You guys.
I get a short answer that's going to be extended to 15 or 20 minutes, but
worth it.
As a legend, I recommend that you watch How I Met Your Mother and you focus in on the character Barney.
Oh my goodness.
And anytime that he says, legend, wait for it, dairy. That's what the legend is.
All right. Simple enough.
Yep.
What if someone's never seen that show?
Thank you for listening. Make sure to subscribe.
Oh my goodness. I've never really seen that show. My brother loves it, but I've never seen like enough to know that reference.
One of the best written TV shows that I've ever seen. And you and your brother, we've talked about this.
Yeah.
Because they don't leave you on many cliffhangers. Like some shows that end and there's a lot of gaps that weren't filled, where this one like fills it. Like the writing, the foreshadowing, and then the flashbacks that happen later on. It's an incredible piece of writing. But we'll give it the actual answer.
Okay. Perfect.
What is a legend? So by definition, a legend is a folklore. It's something or someone that did something so extraordinary that it's talked for generations, but it's oftentimes not able to be proven to be true. That's like the definition of legend. We define it differently than that one. The way that we define it, and I heard this at a leadership summit that we were at, and I thought it was incredibly powerful. And I forget who the original person was that said it, but they said, you pass twice. The first time that you pass is when you actually pass. The second time that you pass is when the last person living on this earth says your name when they pass. The duration between those two events happening, I think, helps to identify a legend. Because that means that they did something so extraordinary that it was talked about for generations and generations and generations and generations. Now, what does it mean to do something extraordinary? Well, let's ask these questions. Who won an Oscar last year? Don't know, right? Who won the 2016 400 meter dash? We can make some guesses, but we don't know. Brandy, who was in charge of your youth ministry that developed you into the woman that you are today?
Jesse.
Hands down, easily can say that. How many awards has he gotten on a global level?
He should be getting some.
But he's not.
Yeah.
Right? I can look back at my coaches, my mentors, and are they getting the credit that they deserve on global level? No. But when we have kids in the future,
Mom in the future.
When we have kids in the future, are they going to know about our mentors? And are we going to instill the stories of our mentors into them, that they now share it with their kids, our future grandkids? And if they don't, we will. And to keep that person's name alive, that to me is what makes something extraordinary. that you've impacted someone's life so greatly that they want to pass your name and your story, your legacy on for generations. To me, that is a legend. So going to the Legends Championships, that's what these people are doing. They are rewriting the textbooks. They are breaking barriers. You are not supposed to be able to lift more when you get older. You are not supposed to be able to run faster when you get older. You're not supposed to be able to PR. You're not supposed to be able to do this. You definitely shouldn't be jumping when you're older. They're all doing it. And they're doing it to incredible levels that the textbooks need to be rewritten. New science protocols need to be studied. Recommendations need to be updated, all because of what they're doing. And are they doing it to win first place at the Masters Games? No, I mean, that's cool if that happens. But the reason they're doing that is because they want to have health across their lifespan. And by having health across their lifespan, they can now pass that legacy on to the next generation. But these incredible athletes are even more incredible humans that are leaving a legacy that makes them a legend.
I saw this video this morning on Instagram, and it was basically like, point of view, you're a workout mom, and so you make all your kids like do workouts. And it was like her children and the neighborhood children like doing box jumps. One was on a rower, one had like a weight in his hand, others were doing sled pulls, like all in the driveway. And I was like, yeah, that's what it's about. But I think of like as a kid being active, having older adults around and being active with you, like that sets such an example. And obviously there can be legends, like Dylan said, like my youth minister may not have taught me about fitness per se, but he taught me about life in a way that changed the direction of my life. And so doesn't necessarily have to be in the fitness realm. We're just going to the Legends Champion. It starts today, the day that this episode is released, or we'll be there. Starts tomorrow when this is released. And like, so we're obviously excited about the fitness side of things, but Legends don't just stop there, but we're pumped to be going to the Legends games.
Yeah. And this may be bold, but I will say that how our legend developed by doing the smallest things repetitively over time, the smallest things that serve that, not that individual, but the individuals around them. These small acts of kindness over time, which is exciting because sometimes we look at being a legend means that like you need to win as many Super Bowls as Patty Mahomes. And like, it's getting closer to football season, so I'm sorry. The Chiefs references are coming back.
Happening.
Now that they weren't there in the off season, but now we're about to explode into the football season. 3P. Let's see what happens.
Get ready, listeners.
but obviously, like, he's doing something that will be talked about for generations to come. Like, he's a legend. Tom Brady's a legend, and they've achieved these great things, and they are legend status. But you don't have to do those in order to be considered a legend, which means that we all have the opportunity to be legends.
Yeah, I think the best way, like we're answering the question, what is a legend? But to extend it even further, and I'm going to answer this, but I'm curious what you've kind of already answered, but like, like how do you become a legend? And I think the simplest way to explain how you personally become a legend, because as Dylan said, you don't need to have all these achievements to become a legend, but the way that you personally do is by pursuing and living your true authentic self and the call that has been created specifically for you. When you do that, you become a legend, because we were not created to be selfish and to not impact other people. We were created to have impact on those around us. We were created to have people connected and looking at us and being inspired by us and empowered by us. Every single person is created not to be alone, but to be in community. And so to become a legend, if your goal is to become a legend and have a legacy, it's by pursuing your true, most authentic self.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, but I think the paradox is that when people start pursuing becoming their authentic selves, they feel selfish because they're saying no to the other things around them and they're taking the time to focus on themselves. But the paradox is that you're taking that time to focus on yourself and become your authentic self to serve a greater amount of people. So at times it can feel selfish to say no to certain things, or like, I can't be there to serve that, or missing some events or whatever it may be. So it does feel selfish at times, but it's not actually selfish because you're doing that in order to go back and serve. And selfish if you go and do that and keep it all to yourself.
Right.
But if you do that, you're not going to go very far anyway. So there's a funny paradox in there. But I think when we look at people that we classify as legends, they have become their authentic selves that is extremely focused on the thing that they've been called to do. For some people, that might be lightening the room. Like, oh man, that guy always came in with a smile. Oh, that girl, she always came in with a smile on her face. And that is talked about for generations of just like, well, how could that person be so happy with all the stuff happening in this world? So there's so many different ways to become a legend, but you have to find what that thing is for you. But then the trial process of figuring out what that thing is hard. And that's where we talk about sparks. Like, if you want your spirit and your soul to be on fire and be ignited, if you want to start a fire, traditionally, if you don't have gas or other explosives, like you have to create sparks. And you have to create a bunch of sparks. And then eventually with a bunch of those sparks, that one spark then ignites it. So what are those things that are giving you sparks? What are those things that feed that fire, that get you excited to do what you're doing? And then chase down those sparks. It doesn't have to be all in it all the time, but dabble with it. That gave me sparks. Hey, this other thing, poured water on the fire. I was going to say peed on the fire, but then I was like, that's probably not appropriate.
But then you said it
anyway. But this thing, like, I was really excited. And then this thing poured water on the fire. Now I need to use extra energy to get back to the spark. So now we're fighting this battle of a spark, water putting it out, spark, water putting it out, spark, water putting it out. We're saying, hey, what if we just limited the water that was going on it and started to slowly increase the sparks to a point that eventually in the future there is no water and it's all sparks? To me, that's how you find that thing, is you dabble in it and you start to look at, what are these things that give me life? And we learned this incredible audit system at a conference we were at, where on a scale from 0 to 10, you rank what are the things that you enjoy, what are your values, and you rank them on a scale, 10 being the most valuable, 0 being not valuable at all. So you make that scale, you put those things on there, and then you rank down a scale from 1 to 10. How much of your time is spent working towards that thing or practicing that value? And you get to see, where are you aligned towards those, or where are you misaligned? Oh, this thing gives me sparks. It's the most important thing to me. Well, how often are you working on that per week? Well, every other week for about 5 minutes. Like, hey, there's a big gap between there. And then we start to wonder why we're rushing towards chugging down Celsius and Monsters and aren't sleeping well at night and always feel fatigued. Well, you're misaligned to what you want to be doing. What if you start to move that 1 out of a 10 to a 3 out of 10? And then that 3 out of 10 to a 5 out of 10, and then start creeping towards that 10, dabble, find the sparks, let the water kind of get away from there.
What if our hope stories today are associated with sparks that we've felt recently?
Ooh.
Do you like that idea?
Well, I like that.
I can go first if you need time.
You go first.
So one thing that gives me sparks is like women's community and being able to mentor women, be present to women. And in my previous work, I had the opportunity to really do that a lot because there were volunteers coming in every year from all over the country that volunteered for a full year. And so I got to really like kind of mentor a lot of these different women. And recently, a couple of them were driving through Syracuse. And so I got to have lunch with them, and that gave me so many sparks, because one of them I haven't seen in a couple of years. The other, the other two, it's been over a year as well. And so getting to just hear about their life and how they're growing as young women, like that gave me sparks. But the thing specifically that I loved the most was that one of those girls a few weeks ago texted me, and I don't think I had heard from her probably for a year, if not longer than that. And she just goes, Brandy, I wanted to reach out and thank you for teaching me how to breathe while working out, and for teaching me how to brace my core, because my job currently is moving sacks of potatoes, and I can do it. And I can do it well. And I just remember, like, when I used to work out with them, I would teach them how to brace. I would teach them how to breathe. A lot of them, had anxiety or asthma. And so it was like my mission was to like help them feel confident in their ability to like work out. And this girl naturally like is not an athlete in the sense of like she didn't play sports in high school and things like that, but she is throwing around 50-pound sacks of potatoes for work now, and like confidently bracing and able to do it. And so getting that text was like, it was awesome. I was like, yes, like I accomplished like what I was set out to do. Like I led this woman to become a greater version of herself. And so that really like sparked me, because I was like seeing the fruit of something 3-4 years later down the road. And so it was just special. And I told her that I was going to talk about it on one of the podcasts, because that's how important it was to me.
Wow, that's a hard follow. That's a hard follow.
Well, I have another one if you want me to do two.
No,
okay.
I can go on too.
I can just keep going on sparks.
Yeah. So spark for me, it's probably no secret. I'm an extrovert. I love community. I love being around people. And a few Sundays ago, we had our friends and their little kiddos over for a cookout, and it was so fun.
Yeah,
they were so funny. Like the one younger boy, at one point, he looked at his mom and he goes, "This is the best party I've ever been to." It was so fun.
It was so cute. And it was literally just like him, his parents, his aunt, uncle, sister, and cousin, and then us. So it wasn't like this like grandiose party. It was just like his bubble of people,
right?
Plus me and you.
Yeah, like no bounce house, no like pony rides, just a yard, hanging out in a yard, run around, go nuts, have fun,
get squirt with a hose.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to share your other one? Because you kind of teed it up that you had another one.
Sure. I didn't know if you were going to continue on why, like, I didn't know if you were going to expand on the...
Oh, no. I mean, shout out to my extroverts out there, because it is kind of funny. Like we mentioned in the previous episode, we had one of our friends from Louisiana up here for a few weeks. And it is funny because whenever we have people visiting and they leave, I honestly get like sad for like a day.
Yeah, it kind of goes into like depression for a day of like, I miss my friends. And that's going to be happening soon, so pray for us. Well, my other spark, and I actually thought you were going to bring this up, so the fact that you didn't makes me excited, but my other spark was we were out with our family recently and went to the high school that Dylan grew up at, and just kind of had like a morning of throwing around the football, running around the track, things like that. But it was really special because I got to watch Dylan, our nephew, Dylan's brother, like throwing the football, learning different routes and how to read the coverage and things like that. But then myself, our friend that we mentioned, and our niece was there, just kind of more chilling and chatting and, sitting in the grass and whatever. But our niece really desires to do like competitive cheer or competitive dance, but the school she goes to doesn't really offer those things. And so my spark, I'm not a cheer or dancer by any means, but like I love people, and I love seeing people doing the thing that they love. Like there's nothing better than seeing people thriving because they're doing what they love. And so it was really cool to watch our best friend Megan show our niece how to do different like cheer stunts, and have Dylan and his brother like literally holding up this 13-year-old girl into a cheer stunt, and she doesn't really she has a little practice, but like not really practice in doing that. But it was really cool. And she was fearless. Like they were lifting her up high and she was fearless in doing it. And it was really special. Like I took a couple of videos, but seeing Dylan smiling, his brother smiling, seeing how grateful she was, but then also how like serious and locked in she was because she knows like I can't go to school and do this. So I need to practice and like give it my all in these 10 minutes of practicing. It was really special to get to see her do that.
Yeah, it was awesome. And seeing her and our nephew and how they support each other
Yeah.
and their goals and their missions. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, we're thankful. We're thankful for community and family and I really believe that the life that we're living is becoming a legend for them.
Yeah.
We're setting a legacy for our nieces and nephews, and we're already seeing how the lifestyle that we're living in our young adult years is impacting them, and it's exciting to wonder and to dream of what that'll be like in 10, 20, 30 years as well down the road.
Yeah, last point. I don't think there's a age limit or restriction on becoming a legend. It could be a 2-year-old, it could be a 10-year-old, it could be 30-year-olds, it could be 80-year-olds. But there's not a restriction and there's not a limit on when you get to be a legend for other people.
So go be a legend.
Be a legend. Have a great week, and remember, every day is not just a day to be hopeful. It's an opportunity to become hope.
The Hope Not Know podcast is meant for educational, informational, and personal development purposes only and does not constitute any health or medical advice. If you're looking for specific advice, connect with us to work with a Hope coach. The Hope Not Know podcast shall not be liable or responsible for any loss or damage allegedly arising from any information or suggestions in this podcast.